It's a beautiful night. Oh, oh, it's a day. Hey, Keith. You are the most sexy, attractive person that I've ever met.
Thank you.
When we're watching Everything Sucks, episode 8, the one where they go to the rock place. What was it called?
Dominguez Rocks?
I know, what's the episode called?
Oh, the episode was called I Just Want to Be
Anybody. I just want to be anybody. What do you think?
Pretty good.
Yes.
Pretty great, actually.
So I would say it's my favorite episode of the show.
It's definitely one of my favorite episodes. It almost seems like their budget went up. I like the cameras look better, the shots look better. Obviously, they're on a location, which I'm sure they're in California anyways.
Yeah. Well, my guess, I mean, a lot of times shows allocate budget to specific episodes. They know, this is gonna be a climactic moment, this climactic episode. We're gonna, put a little bit more time and effort into this one, put a little more money behind it. Definitely very cinematic, especially. I mean, I think this at the end, with not the very end, but the bus drive after Blockbuster and the shots on Luke and everything, really well done. Yeah. And I actually thought the stuff early on when they were at the hotel and the things about the different levels of people in their rooms and then someone coming out around the corner then we go
and looking through the window.
Yeah, and then we end up with Kate closing the blinds and that was really well done.
A lot of really great shots.
Yeah, really interesting cinematic show and it just I'm at the point now where I feel like now that we're out over sort of the early bumpy stuff, that I really do feel like this is a show kind of in a class of its own. Like I can't think of another coming of age story like this,
especially in this format. It's bigger than a movie, but it's smaller than a TV show.
Yeah, well, smaller than a TV.
In the sense that it's pretty condensed.
Well, it's not 22 episode season.
Right. A lot of little spots.
Well, it's just I can't remember a television show coming of age story that had this much cinematography and this much mix of drama and comedy that feels really natural.
Right.
And where these actors just seem so much like believable kids.
Yeah, I mean, the actors and the characters are believable, and that is pretty hard to do in these kind of things, and they really hit it. They really hit it out of the park.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. I love them. I love sort of the different take of we're going away, and therefore we're not going to necessarily see the parents this episode. I think that kind of helped.
It changes up the characters and the pacing. You get a little bit more of the extra kids. And
you get more of the Christian girl, and you get which I did think. They totally did the thing shippers always talk about, where it's like throughout the other episodes, I did notice that he was looking at Tyler a little bit in the corner of the shots or whatever, and I'm like, I wonder if that's anything or if I'm just being silly. And then it's like, there's a little bit of thing there. And I loved how we were watching the end of the episode where it's like, close up on this person, they're upset about this person. Close up on this person, they're upset about this person.
Let's jump to the end and let's get back into the middle. So the end, we get them driving away, and it's a great turnaround. Right? When they first were driving to the location, the kids were so excited. They were so full of youth and energy. Of course, you've got Emmeline, who is also just down in the dumps, but it's also they really captured that kind of range of youth so much in that bus driving to California.
Yeah, and I think that the use of the music, I thought it was ham-fisted at first, where they were so much I can't get it out of the thing, but the payoff of him throwing it out at the end worked so well.
And then switch to the end. Everyone's devastated. We get their close up, and it's this person is sad about this person, and in love with this person. This person is sad about this person because they're in love with that person, and there's all this kind of thing down to Luke upset about his father.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, Stargate or Stargrove or whatever his name is the one who's happy. Song, he came around because he had some good park ranger love. What do you think about stuff with Emmeline and Kate? This is the thing that we've been building towards that was in the trailer, but not in depth, but the shot anyway.
It's a little bit less. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not definitive.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit less definitive than it seemed like it was going to be in the trailer. Again, we have this sort of running... I'm going to call it a gag, but it's not. It's a good gag.
Yeah.
I think. It's always the moment up into the bang. Whenever there's an intimate moment, it's always an interruption.
Yeah.
We've had it with Kate in the magazine. We've had it with the parents.
Yeah.
Had it now with Kate and Emmeline.
Yeah.
There's one more that I'm forgetting.
There's probably one other. I mean, the thing is, I would say, is that that is a trope just in general, but the fact that they're doing it so many times, it kind of makes it, they're making it their own, I feel like.
Yes. I think it works.
Yeah. It is interesting because I feel like when you see those shots in the pilot and in the trailer, right? Mm-hmm. It almost feels like, oh, they just had sex, or they've hit it doesn't feel like the beginning of something. It feels like the middle or the end. It seems
like something that's going to linger and become like a very strong. I'm not saying it wasn't a strong moment, but it's a very different kind of moment than it seemed like it's going to be.
It was definitely interesting to see that episode start with, not even that episode, all these episodes leading up to this start with Kate sort of looking at and pining for Emmeline, and then end the episode where, even though Kate isn't, in love with Luke or anything, she's still upset about Luke, and Emmeline is the one who's like pining for her in a way.
Right, because it's like they've gotten this kind of friendship stage, and they still they're very close characters.
Yeah.
And the relatively short time they've been together, I'm going to say, they have really developed a bond because they share a lot of similarities. They do connect on a very personal level.
Yeah.
So they have.
You're talking about Luke and Kate.
Luke and Kate, yeah. And so that big gesture, and again, she somehow got to the point where she can steal a school bus, which is great.
Which also no one ever got no one in trouble because Stargate's having sex.
I mean, kids, when you get a nose ring, you start stealing school buses.
And it's okay. I want to talk more about sort of Emmeline's speech here about how she was, obviously the title sort of refers to her, right? Mm-hmm. She feels like her whole identity was built around Oliver, and built around
being the center of attention, being the crazy girl.
That she goes out of her way to be noticed, right? Mm-hmm. And she feels like nobody, she's nothing unless she tries really hard, whereas Kate just is.
It's effortless existence, which is kind of ironic in a sense because it's not that Kate isn't going through things. It's not that she's like, oh, I'm comfortable with myself. It's very much the opposite, but at the same time, she doesn't have the same attitude about her anxieties.
Well, I think the thing is that there's clearly a theme of perspective, right? When we talk about the hero thing, but it's not even just that. It's as much as it's to Emmeline, Kate seems like everything's fine, but to Kate, it's like every day is a struggle. Right. So
though she seems. She's
gotten to a new place.
She's definitely got a lot more confidence now. I mean, stealing the bus.
Thanks to Tori Amos. Yeah. He solves all lesbians' problems. I think, once again, I like that you could have so easily, after last episode, be like, okay, now Luke's back to being a good dude, right? And it's like,
happy kid.
Yeah, and but again, they make him an anti-hero where I understand where he's coming from. He's hurt. He's saying things he shouldn't be. But he's still saying things he shouldn't. It's like his problems, his issues, and his attitude towards Kate isn't solved in one episode, right? Mm-hmm. Like maybe they've reached a closer point, but he still has so close to the surface. The first thing that he can think to say is, "Oh, you're never going to be my girlfriend," because he didn't just get over that,
Right. It's actually interesting. Whereas Kate is becoming more human by opening up more. Mm. And I think that where Luke before was always happy-go-lucky, very outgoing, he's learning to become more human by kind of closing in on himself and thinking about himself in a different way more. So it's interesting, you have those kind of opposite pull, but they're both kind of reaching.
Well, Luke is a lot like her dad, Luke is a lot like, oh, happy-go-lucky, I'm excited about life, but there's more bubbling pain bubbling under the surface now, which is now bubbling out more than hitting everybody. The bubbles are hitting everybody in the face.
Never open the can when you drop it. You gotta wait for the bubbles to go down. You gotta get soda all over your place.
So one thing I wanted to say about Emmeline was when I did episode 5 without you, I was talking
by the way.
I was talking about how Emmeline is, they're in the changing room together, and Emmeline is talking about how so much of what she does and manufactures for herself is for men to see her and all that stuff. And I think I was talking about, I was theorizing, saying that she do all this stuff because that's the only way she sees any worth or power in herself. Mm-hmm. And does it actually have to do with the guys? So I was because I was theorizing, I was like, okay, is she bi, or maybe is she a lesbian? But the only way she found any self-worth was by guys finding her attractive. I do feel like with the whole Oliver thing, it does feel like he had enough of a thing there where it seems like he probably is more bi.
My take, I think, is a little different. She's not straight.
Yeah.
But I think that whereas Kate, she was sort of like reserved, and she should have these organic feelings that kind of come up like, okay, I'm interested in women. That's me, but I'm not expressing any sexuality in general.
Yeah.
Whereas with Emmeline, it's like I'm expressing all this sexuality on this kind of like crazed thing where like that's how I define myself.
Yeah.
And then now I'm finding that maybe I'm more attracted to this person, and that's how I'm feeling more comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting in some ways that Emmeline was the character she was while also still being in a monogamous relationship with Oliver. You know, like, because in some way, I mean, maybe she was trying to get like everybody's attention so that Oliver would pay more attention to her. I guess.
I mean, to use the word, it was very theatrical.
Yeah,
it's true. That's the whole thing. She was the center of attention. She wanted to put on a spectacle, be watched. So as much as it was, you know, to exude something of herself, it's like I become an object of desire. Therefore, he will desire me, but also just so that kind of like radiating kind of energy that she sees.
Yeah.
Soft.
Do we want to say anything else about Oliver and leaving and everything?
Interesting, yeah. And I think that one of my biggest takeaways from that scene was not even about Oliver, but actually about Tyler.
Yeah.
So he's got this box for his protege. It gives it, leaves it at, I'm assuming Tyler's house.
Yeah.
You see the pickup truck with like the beer cans in the back and all that kind of stuff. And then you see like, you know, Emmeline is upset, but like in a different kind of way. She's kind of upset.
She kind of saw it coming, I think, in a way that, like, she was like hurt, but like had resigned herself to that. Yeah,
she's scorned. Yeah. But Tyler is sort of like
he didn't believe that would happen.
Yeah, quietly taken aback, which I think goes a little deeper.
Yeah,
and I think they're going to get into that more, but it's very interesting because, like, I don't know, like, what is Tyler and Oliver like?
I don't know. My question: do you think we see Oliver again? I don't know if
part of me says no. I think just no.
I think we do if there's more seasons. I don't think that you see him again this season, but I can see him coming back or there. I don't know. It could go either way.
We've only got a couple episodes left. Yeah. I feel like to see him again, as interesting as that would be, I think it would undercut the tragedy of him leaving for anybody.
Yeah,
it'll be too soon.
Yeah. Well, again, it's the same sort of thing like what I was saying last episode about maybe, you know, Sherry is the mom's name, I think
so.
Sherry and Ken, things are happy, and then the dad comes back.
Right. Same which sort of like it could very easily happen now.
Similar thing as far as if Kate and Emmeline start having more of a thing, and then Oliver comes back. I'm interested in general what this show will do. You know, if they go multiple seasons, as far as very rarely do you see this spread of ages because then when you get to season 3 or whatever, half the people are leaving. So like the fact that Kate's older than everybody else, all the guys, and then Emmeline's even older than she is, like it leaves these.
Yeah, because actually from a logistical standpoint, I mean, Emmeline looks young enough now, but you said she was like 20 when they filmed this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very conceivable that next year or whenever they film it, you know, she'll look too old. Like, then what do you do?
Well, the other thing is that they straight up said that she's a junior right now, and Kate says it's a sophomore. So that means that next year Emmeline's a senior. So that kind of that is interesting. We should talk about McQuaid a little bit before we end out.
McQuaid, yeah. So yeah, they've put a lot of human in him in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character. I mean, the whole kiss thing and that build up to that.
I did not expect him to actually do it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I think there was an interesting little thing for him because he kind of got what he wanted, but he didn't really get what he wanted.
Right. It was like, okay, there was a moment, and then it seemed like everything was. I mean, that's kind of like the whole point of the show now. It's like things go great, and then they don't.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they managed to make me care about McQuaid and Tyler because I didn't.
And they did a really good job doing that, just in the last 2 episodes alone.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment down below. I'm Dan.
And I'm Keith.
And until next time.
Hope you're doing okay.